Islam is an important religious, ideological, and political force in the world. Yet here in the West, we are taught very little about what Islam is. More people know the story of Buddha better than that of Muhammad. Yet over a fifth of all the people believe in Islam. That's 1.5 billion people. For them, Islam defines their daily life. It is important for us to know more about Islam so we can understand the culture and thinking behind 1.5 billion people. So today, in this series of videos, I'm going to take you from the birth of Muhammad until his death and show the origin of Islam. I will convey the story of Muhammad, including his more miraculous experiences. This series of videos is meant to educate about Islam. These videos are not to convert anyone, not to jump back from controversy, and not to push an agenda. Only to educate about the historical figure of Muhammad and the revelations that he supposedly had. The Arabian Peninsula where Muhammad lived was an arid and volcanic region. Communities were dotted with cities and towns located near oases. People lived in tribal groups, it was their identity. Just as today you feel Russian, South African, Brazilian. Back in those days, in that region, it was your tribe who determined with whom you belonged and who protected you. The area was dotted with many nomadic tribes and settlements, where many gods and goddesses were worshipped as protectors of individual tribes. The spirits often associated with sacred trees, stones, and springs. The Arabian Peninsula was caught between two large empires, the Byzantine Empire and the Sassanid Empire. Now I know what you're wondering, am I going to draw Muhammad? Yes, while very few paintings have survived of Muhammad himself, there are very detailed descriptions on how they looked. Let me recite. Muhammad is neither too short nor too tall. His hair neither curly nor straight but a mixture of the two. He is a man of black hair and large skull. His complexion has a tinge of redness. Muhammad was born in Mecca in the year 570. Unlike the birth of Jesus, however, there are no miraculous events associated with his birth. Muhammad's birth was an ordinary one. He was part of a prominent family in Mecca, but his childhood is laced with tragedy. His father had died 6 months before he was born, and when he turned 6, his mother died as well. Muhammad was then placed in the care of his grandfather, who died 2 years later, until eventually coming under the care of his uncle Abu Talib. This wasn't a loving care, rather Abu Talib saw to it Muhammad did not die of starvation, but because he was a minor member of the family, it was culturally unacceptable to do more than that in those times. But this wasn't to say the boy was completely rejected either. Abu Talib took the young Muhammad on a caravan trade mission to Syria and he eventually became a merchant, trading between the Indian Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. By age 20, Muhammad had built a reputation of honesty and trustworthiness. He was so trusted in fact that he was asked to mediate. When the central shrine of Mecca, the Kaaba, was damaged in one of the frequent flash floods, it was Muhammad who was asked to mediate a dispute between clan leaders. There was an agreement over who would put back in place in the Kaaba the last stone, the black stone, a sacred stone. This was an honor and clan leaders couldn't decide who should receive this honor of putting the black stone back. So Muhammad came with a solution. Put the black stone on a cloth. Then all the men would together place the stone using the cloth. The cloak and this story became important Muslim symbols for later poets and writers. Khadija, a 40-year-old widow merchant in Mecca, heard about Muhammad. After Muhammad came home from an exceptionally successful trade mission, Khadija proposed to Muhammad, and he accepted. Theirs was a happy marriage. She was not only his wife, but also his friend, his confidant, and his moral support. They had 6 children together, 4 daughters of which survived until adulthood. As Muhammad entered his 40s, he started to have a personal crisis. He was discontent with his life and the world in which he lived, wondering the purpose of it all. And Muhammad began making regular spiritual retreats to a cave on Mount Hira. According to Muslim tradition, he was meditating as usual and fell asleep. Then suddenly, he woke in terror, his body shaking uncontrollably. As he lay there, completely shattered, he heard a voice saying one word, "Read." The illiterate Muhammad replied, "I can't. I'm not one of those who can read." The voice replied, "Read." And once again Muhammad replied, "I'm not one of those who can read." Then the voice returned a third time, "Read." And this time Muhammad asked, "What shall I read?" And the voice replied, "Proclaim, in the name of thy Lord and Cherisher, created man out of mere clot of congealed blood. Proclaim, and thy Lord is most bountiful. He who taught the use of the pen, taught man that which he knew not. This sentence would become the first verse of the Quran. Muslim tradition states that Muhammad ran home terrified to his wife. She consoled her husband and reassured him that he did indeed hear the voice of the Abrahamic God and convinced him that he was his prophet. And so, according to the Muslim faith, this is how Muhammad the merchant became Muhammad the prophet. Come back next week as Muhammad begins his mission to spread Islam. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, press the subscribe button.